Mercedes Moné has turned down AEW, plus so much more. We're going to talk about it. Don't forget, we're giving away this championship belt once we hit 100,000 subscribers. So if you want a chance to win, go ahead and click subscribe today. Alrighty, everybody, we're going to kick things off with some very interesting news. AJ Styles is coming back. That's right. According to PW Insider, it appears that AJ Styles is back in the WWE. So PW Insider has reported that AJ Styles is expected to return to television on tonight's episode of SmackDown. The time of this video, it is December 15th. PW Insider was told that Styles will be back on the road with the company this weekend. Last time we seen him was September 15th. He put over Finn Balor. Then he was written off TV when the Bloodline attacked him. This is interesting. I know Boozer Wrestling is also teasing AJ Styles. So at this point, multiple reports, multiple teases that WWE is bringing back AJ Styles. Roman Reigns will be back on SmackDown tonight too. So I'm assuming that going into Royal Rumble, it's going to be AJ versus the Bloodline. And look, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm a fan of AJ Styles. I feel bad right now. With SmackDown, Damage Control is basically carrying the show. Randy Orton is obviously back. LA Knight is doing some cool stuff. But pretty much anybody who goes up against Roman Reigns up until WrestleMania, we know they're going to lose. And I don't know exactly WWE's plan here. Obviously, it was reported a couple weeks back that AJ Styles was expected to return. Then it got pushed back. The OC are expected back as well. Do they show up tonight? Obviously, that is a very interesting possibility. But me personally, just as a fan of AJ Styles, I want him to be on TV. I just don't want this guy getting fed to Roman Reigns only to lose. I feel like the OC should be treated like a bigger deal in WWE. That's one of the biggest criticisms that I've had, in regards to their characters, that they're just not regularly on TV. And I understand that injuries and things have come up as well. But as an AJ Styles fan, I would like to see them. I would like to see them be utilized. I would like to see AJ, Mia Yim, the OC, all of them together. Also, one thing to really factor in as well is when Roman Reigns is not on TV, SmackDown does have some top stars, but it is noticeable when Roman isn't on TV, and CM Punk is obviously on Raw now. So I'm hoping that AJ Styles, LA Knight, Randy Orton, those guys can carry the show. Hopefully things get better. I do want to turn our attention to another topic in today's video, and this one is unfortunate. We are talking about Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega took to X, aka Twitter, and he appeared in a video that he posted. He says, "I can't really sugarcoat this. I'm out indefinitely. I try to keep pushing past the pain for as long as I could until it became too much. Luckily, doctors caught me when they did. I'll be here, so in the meantime, please enjoy wrestling." It was pretty vague. He was in the hospital bed. It was very vague. Then Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select had come out with basically an update in regards to it. Sources indicate that Kenny Omega is suffering from diverticulitis. Guys, basically what you need to know is Kenny Omega's been working through this. He was very ill in the past week, and then he actually competed against Ethan Page. After his match, he had to see medical attention. I'm one of those people. I believe Kenny Omega is an incredibly important piece to AEW. I also have been on record on this channel saying that Kenny Omega has been underutilized in recent months. Throw all of that shit out the window, because when it comes to health, that is the number one most important thing. Okay? It is so incredibly important. The wrestling aspect, will it impact AEW? Yeah, Kenny Omega not being there, Young Bucks aren't there. They're going to need some people to step up. This is a time for people to step up with Kenny dealing with his health issue. I'm a very big fan of Kenny Omega. I want Kenny Omega to be incredibly healthy and come back. They don't need to rush this. They need to do what is right. You have to keep in mind, this is essentially what kept Brock Lesnar out of the UFC. he was forced to retire due to that, and then eventually he came back. But, as a Kenny Omega fan, I just want Kenny Omega to be good. I mean, that's really all that matters, And as far as the others that work in this company, it's time for them to step up. It's time for them to, there's a couple top stars absent from the show. They are going to have an opportunity to step up at a time when the company needs it, because yes, the company absolutely needs it. But none of that stuff matters, man, because Kenny Omega obviously having to go through this, it sucks. And I'm a huge fan of Kenny Omega. I feel like Kenny Omega is not only a great wrestler, but he portrays fantastic character work. He's a phenomenal storyteller. I don't think Kenny Omega ever gets the credit that he deserves, to be honest. I see a lot of people, for some reason, they're critical of him. And for me personally, just as a fan of Kenny, I know he's one of the reasons why I look forward to watch AEW. So hopefully, Kenny has a speedy recovery, man. Hopefully everything goes well. And when he comes back, I can't wait. So with that being said, though, we're going to turn our attention to some other news. Mercedes Mone, a.k.a. Sasha Banks. Some very interesting news. According to Sean Ross Sapp, the once working plans between Mercedes Mone and AEW are no longer working plans. So it's been confirmed that AEW and Mercedes are no longer in talks. They no longer have plans to work with each other. We all know, if you follow this channel, we all know for months and months and months, there had been ideas that Mercedes would go into AEW. And at this time, that is not going to be the case. Now, I don't think it's a secret that Mercedes has been teasing WWE. I don't think it's a coincidence that Bayley is teasing Sasha Banks' return. And I don't think it is a coincidence whatsoever that Michael Cole is making references to Sasha Banks on WWE commentary. As far as, AEW is concerned, Mercedes would have done a lot of great things for their women's division. She would have been very helpful there. Now, from an analytical standpoint, me and giving you guys analysis on this, WWE has not done the women's division properly for a very long time. They've shown bits and pieces of what it could be. However, in the last 3 months, we have seen a very significant improvement in the women's division. And I know Triple H respects the hell out of Sasha Banks. So Sasha Banks going to WWE is probably a better situation for her than it is to go to AEW. Because AEW's women, there's 3 shows and you barely get to see them on TV. And when you do, they don't treat it with the most importance. And I know people will call me an AEW hater. I've learned to pretty much ignore those comments because those comments either come from trolls or people who don't listen to my words. But it shouldn't be a criticism. Even when I was talking so highly about AEW for the first 3 years, it shouldn't be an issue in 2023 going into 2024. The women's booking is atrocious. And realistically, if you want to bring in big names for the women's division, you got to show that you're willing to do something there. And I feel like Mercedes would actually be helping AEW a lot more. And yeah, she would get paid for it. But I feel like it makes more sense for Sasha to go to WWE, get those big time matches that she wants. And, honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy. I know WWE is probably going to utilize the Sasha Banks name. But I really love what Mercedes did when she went to Japan. And she changed a lot of things that I personally saw as like a really good thing. So I want WWE and hopefully Sasha to come together and use some of that influence and bring it to WWE. And then you got to factor in the Julia match. That's a dream match. And that's a possibility because Julia could go to WWE. So I feel like it's just a better situation for her from a fan's perspective. Obviously, for the betterment of the wrestling industry, yeah, going to AEW would be a significant increase and help. Now, the real question is, will Naomi follow suit?